Prathamam Sadgurum Vande Shri Krishnam Tadanantaram Guru Manantrata Shri Krishnas Tvamalatmana Varaha Pidam Natavaravapu Karnayo Karnikaram Vibhradvasa Kanaka Kapisham Vaijayanti Jamala Randhran Venu Radhara Sudhaya Urayan Gopavrindai Vrindaranyam Swapadaramanam Pravishat Gita Kirti Namah Kamalana Bhaya Namah Kamalamaline Namah Kamalapadaya Namaste Kamalekshana Yo Brahmanam Vidadhati Purvam Yo Vai Vedanscha Prahinoti Tasmai Bhagwan Devamatma Buddhi Prakasham Mumukshurvai Sharanamaham Prapatti Eternal seekers of supreme bliss, we shall first chant for a few minutes, and then I'll continue my talk from where I left last time. वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की, श्रीमद् सद्गुरु सरकार की। Let me first briefly run through what I have said so far. I began with the law of life, that no one can remain inactive even for a fraction of a second. Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishthatya karmakrit. Gita, 3rd chapter, 5th verse. Whatever action we perform, there is definitely a purpose behind it, an aim. Prayojana manuddeshya mandopi na pravartate, Darshan Shastra. The aim behind every action is only one. That is supreme bliss, happiness, peace. As the Bhagavad says, Sukhaya karmani karoti loko natai sukham vanyaduparamamma. Number 352. And the definition of happiness is Yo vai bhuma tat sukham. Number 7:23:1 of Chandogya Upanishad, which says, the definition of happiness is that which is everlasting, and it should be unlimited, and darkness or ignorance or suffering can never overrule that happiness. Why do we desire happiness? Where does this desire come from? Ansho Nana Vyapadeshat, Brahma Sutra 2.3.42. We are all eternal parts of a Supreme Being who has been defined as Anando Brahmeti Vijanat Anandat Deva Khalvimani Bhutani Jayante Anandena Jatani Jivanti Anandam Prayantyabhisamvishanti. Taittiriya Upanishad number 3.6. He's been defined as bliss. Bliss is another name of God. How do we attain that supreme bliss? The answer given is by knowing God. You need to know Him in order to attain Him. Again, these same scriptures say, Sukham Shashvatam Netaresham. Shvetashvatara Upanishad number 6.12. Gyatva Shivam Shanti Matyantameti. Number 4.14 or Shvetashvatara Upanishad. And how do we know God? Tat prasadat param shantim sthanam prapsati shashvatam. The Gita, 18th chapter, 62nd verse says, you can only know Him through grace. And that's where we were confused. Because this principle of grace has been misunderstood by a lot of people. We can divide grace into two divisions. One is ordinary grace, which everybody is eligible to and receives from God. And the other is special grace, which we'll be talking about today. The confusion is about ordinary grace. I mentioned to you that the role of God in our lives has been mentioned in several scriptures. The Bhagavad Gita says, Brahmayan sarva bhutani yantra rudhani mayaya, 18th chapter, 61st verse. He, that Supreme Being, He resides in each and every one, and He gives the power to the senses, mind and intellect to perform their respective functions. Now His work is over. After that, we are totally free. We have the freedom to perform action as we desire to do so, and God does not interfere in that at all. His next work is to make a note of each and every action of each and every second of each and every individual. Master accountant, imagine. So He takes a note of all those actions and He rewards us for both good and bad actions. Now, our problem was, well, I'm quite happy when He rewards me for my good actions. But my problem is, if He is merciful, if He is a loving Father, then why punish me for my bad actions? Can He not forgive me? This is a question a lot of people have. We don't have to go far. We can look in this material world itself. Every country has so many courts, prison houses, such a big police force in every country. So much money is being spent to maintain law and order. And those who disobey law, they are punished. Why are they punished? In order to deter man from committing any crime. Now, there is a very big difference between the material government and its laws and the spiritual government and its laws. The spiritual government punishes us, and so does the material government. But there is a difference. Suppose somebody commits a murder and he's taken to court. He's pleading before the judge, please, please, please forgive me this time. I'll never commit even I won't even lie in my life ever. You can give me whatever punishment you want for that. But please forgive me for this murder. He says, I'll think about it after that. You have to go through the punishment for this murder. What are you going to think about after that? When the punishment for murder is execution, I'm going to die. Then where's the question of forgiveness after that? But come to the spiritual government. Even if a person has murdered 1,000 people and he asks for forgiveness from the heart, he is completely forgiven. What mercy! There is both judgment and mercy there. And there can be no mercy compared to this, which I'm talking about. You know, in the Bhagavad Gita, the conclusion, Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shucha. 18 chapter, 66 verse. How lovingly Lord Krishna assures Arjuna, come and surrender to me and I will forgive you for all the countless sins. You remember I mentioned that our total balance of past karma or actions is countless. There's so much to still go through. It'll take us infinite lives. But the Lord is so merciful. Once we ask for forgiveness, He is ever ready to forgive our countless sins. And the fact that He punishes us, even that is mercy. That is grace, overflowing grace. Because only when He punishes us are we going to find out how should we get out of this. So even the laborious task which He does for all of us, keeping an account of our every action, even that is grace. A very big grace. Suppose you were given this job to do. Only for 24 hours. Come on, take a note of this person's actions. 24 hours only. You will resign from the job. You'll get fed up. And He does that. He's been doing that since time immemorial. And all our suffering, as I mentioned, is totally due to our alienation from God. We are cut, as the psychiatrist Carl Jung said, we have cut ourselves from the root, the source of our life. He's a sustainer. And that's why we are suffering. And it's only in human form that we can rectify this mistake, this error. No other form. Forget birds and animals, even the celestial gods, they cannot attain freedom from suffering. They cannot attain supreme bliss. It's only in human form. That's why the saints, the scriptures, they plead, they beg of us and they say, please don't waste a single precious moment of this human life. Hurry up. जो करना है सो कर जल्दी, यही कहना हमारा है. जो आए काल परवाना तो एक दिन सबको जाना है. छूटे माता छूटे भ्राता छूटे संग खेलने वाले. Hurry up and do what needs to be done, because you don't know. No notice, no warning when we have to leave. But you were just telling us that we can only know God and attain Him through His grace. It's only when He graces us, then we will attain our goal. What do we need to do? It all depends on Him. But yesterday I mentioned that God's grace is not whimsical. It's not something accidental. There is a condition for His grace. All the saints, Tulsidas, Surdas, whomsoever you hear of, who have attained him, they have attained him because they fulfilled a condition. When they fulfilled the condition of God, they were graced and they attained the supreme goal. Well, if God's grace is conditional, then all these scriptures, they are constantly telling us, He is causelessly merciful. Come to Him. Vinu Karana Dina Dayala Hitam. He is always merciful, kind. He doesn't need a reason to be kind. Aso ko udar jag mahi binu seva jo dravahi deen par Ram saris ko nahi aso ko udar jag mahi. There is no example like him. His heart just melts. He just showers His grace so liberally on everybody. And you are telling us, He wants us to fulfill a condition. Then how can His grace be causeless? His grace is conditional. It's only when we fulfill a condition, we receive grace. And if we do not fulfill the condition, then sit back, revolve in the cycle of birth and death. We have not fulfilled the condition. So God's grace is definitely conditional. And if it is conditional, then we can say God is a businessman.